Hi there, my friends. We're back, and quite frankly, our reading is going to be, let's see, May 25th to the 31st. And for any of you that are interested, one of those days is Memorial Day. That used to be a holiday for us to take off from work. So just think that you've been ahead of the game. Alrighty, let's have a look. I'm going to shuffle through my Voyagers. We'll see what's up. Now, some of you might be feeling a little better about what's going on because a lot of states now are starting to open up and more things are available for us to do. I was out running an errand and I saw a couple blocks from my house was a shopping center that had several restaurants in it, and they had put a big sign out front saying all restaurants now open, and it had a list of the names that you could visit. And I thought, boy, it's been a long time since I even thought about that, but there was probably eight restaurants just within a half a mile of where I live that are now open as opposed to being shut down by the CV. All right. So take care of yourselves, you guys. You're making a difference. California had 0 increases last week, and there's no reason why we can't continue to do that. We're doing good. All right. Okay, let me see. One more shuffle and we're off to the races. Okay, laying out with my little Voyager deck. Okay. Oh, I see. Oh, I have a suggestion to make to you, and this came even, now the cards are showing it, but it's also reminiscent of what an intuitive friend of mine had said earlier this week. What I am seeing is a couple of things right here. First of all, we've got our setback card, which is sometimes financial loss, definitely where we're coming from, okay? But this is the indicator card. This is telling me this is the base of what's been going on for us. And then what's crossing it is what's coming. And the crossing card, the crossing guard is the Magician, right? And this is manifestation of what we have in our imagination and creating a reality. So our reality at present has been one of lack or of something is missing. And this says, all right, you need to start thinking imaginatively, proactively to create the reality that you do want. This can mean in terms of health, it can mean in terms of our country, it can mean in terms of the world, but it means in terms of yourself. You need to imagine this as being only a fleeting situation, and where do I want to be? What do I want for myself? So you start to dream big on that, and you may not know how to get there. This card is saying, don't let that hold you back. Dream big, and somehow things start to manifest when you put the energy behind it. I would suggest at this time it's about increasing your ability to meditate. It may be when you have short periods of time to rest or take a nap, and that is when you can sometimes dream more important things, okay? Not so structured, just let it open and see what comes to you. Jot down what your ideas are. It's almost like a journal, but it can be from 1 or 2 words at a time. And then you go back and look at it and you think, that was inspirational for me, okay? It is all part of what we're doing to create the new reality to make what we want happen in this next year or so, all right? This card is telling me that things have already started to change. We've got the 8 of discs, or the 8 of worlds in this particular deck. And that means one thing is going to lead to another. So hang with it, put your energy behind what is positive and uplifting, and that'll drop you off at the doorstep of the next good thing. This is a good card, especially if we're coming out of a 5 of discs. We'll be moving into the 8, which is change. People read cards differently, and so I made an agreement with my cards that when I see this card, it is telling me progressive change, one thing leads to the next, okay? So that's what we're looking for. And our Magician card is strongest masculine energy in the whole deck. It's the card of the creator. Okay. Give me an issue and I'm going to create a solution. All right. Then we have this little card which tells me things have been out of balance, but now we're working more toward an emotional balance. Some of what I'm reading I know is going to resonate for me. I don't know what these cards are because I didn't lay them out ahead of time. But this is telling me balance, okay? So it's been too much one direction. Now we're counterbalancing it, but it has to do with finding an internal peace as well too, all right? So I love this card. It also is a card that I want to encourage artistic people, entrepreneurs. After the government resets, there may be big companies that have gone out of business, but there's going to be room for many, many, many smaller businesses. And this is where the entrepreneur, the missing middle class fits in. So if you've had an idea of a business or some kind of a career that you want to move toward, maybe you hate the work that you've done and you've been home long enough to realize, I'm going to put my energy toward creating a new career, a new thing that feeds my soul, that I am dedicating part of my life to. Okay, that's what this card is talking about. Okay, I think that the government is going to be showing us that they're going to have more money to support the entrepreneur. Honestly, that's where the government gets the most of their money. You think it's the big companies, it's not, because they're the ones that get a lot of the tax credits and things. It's the little people that pay most of the taxes for everybody. So in this respect, it looks to me like they get a little return for their money. Okay, so if you're thinking about it, let's start putting some energy toward it. It's the card of the artist. It means think outside the box. Okay, it's not always about what's, oh, we're going to go from A to B to C to D. No, one of the best lessons I learned was from a Piscean friend of mine, and she was doing her master's thesis. And I asked her if I could help. And she's like, well, yeah, I'm printing it out. Maybe you could put it together for me so that I could turn it in. So I'm looking at what she's printing out, and I've got, okay, there's chapter 1, there's chapter 7, there's chapter 3. And I said, what happened to 2 and 4 and 5 and 6? And she goes, oh, I haven't written them yet. What? This is your thesis? And she's like, yeah, it will come to me. And I know what needs to be written between 1 and 3 in order to make it cohesive, right? And I hadn't thought of that. I always thought things had to move linearly. And what she's teaching me is you go by inspiration. What you are inspired to do, that's what you hit at that moment. And when you step back and look at it, you have all these pieces that seem to fit together beautifully. You didn't know, maybe you didn't do it by design, but you did it by intent. You knew what your outcome was going to be, and you were able to fill in the spots. I think our realities are going to be a lot like that in the next year or two. Okay, we may not know exactly where we're going. We're going to have opportunities to get there. Somebody else may have their hands on the wheel, but we'll have the ability to get there. All right. Okay. Be mindful of those around us. That's a child of worlds, but is also telling me that there's a lot of disappointments, ups, downs over the next 3 months or so. But then, like I said, it starts to make sense. So we've got some children that are petulant and worried about stuff. And then we have children that are going, whew, I'm free from that. Let me enjoy where I am right now and, experience some free time. Okay. So all is not lost. It just looks like it's written differently or it's in different clothing. All right. Then within the next 6 months or so, it looks like what we're paying attention to is how behaviors are revealing, okay? This card to me is kind of like being a backyard psychologist. I don't know whether you can see it or not, but it's listening and hearing what's behind the story, seeing what is being done. People will tell you certain things and maybe you believed them in the past, and now is the time where we're starting to analyze. We're starting to think, why did I hear that part louder than that part? It's because one part of it is more important than the other part. It is animalistic instincts that are telling you your gut reaction is going to be the right one. Okay? Maybe you don't have it all written out on a piece of paper, but your reaction is, that's what I heard, and I know what I heard. Children are really good at this, so we may have to get back and learn some things from our youngins. And I mean the little ones, I don't mean millennials, I mean 11-year-olds, 4-year-olds. The wisdom of the little minds are terrific. This is a card that's telling me now finances are going to get better, but bit by bit. This is a little bit and a little bit, but the Nine of Worlds is telling me, actually, I think what it's telling me is that real estate is going to have a rebound. So it may be falling at this time, but then we're going to have a rebound of it where it looks like it almost makes, it might make a 90% recovery, but you know, it was inflamed. It started to say hyper infatuated. Sorry, don't know. Okay, but it's much more realistic. All right. This is getting into a position where more people are starting to speak up for themselves. So that's a good thing. This is a very good card because everywhere you see blue on this card is an indication of truth being told. So it's an excellent card, but it can mean that maybe your friends are starting to speak some truth. They have courage, they're stepping forward, and it may mean that they have courage at this time to try and help those around them. This is an excellent time for the support of this little person. So one little person is being helped by another little person, and that's what makes the difference, all of the difference in their lives, our lives as we're moving through. In the position of hopes and fears, we have a Woman of Cups. And this may be a water sign female that is going to be interacting in our lives. It's going to have major repercussions one way or the other. Okay, so keep your eyes open for this. It's someone who holds a lot of personal power, and yet they feel familiar. They feel like they could be your BFF or something. So eyes open for this. It also indicates to me that there's going to be more room for women in this next year or so. Women with a voice. I just got an email from a friend of mine, someone I respect highly, and she's running for a councilwoman in a city down by LA. Okay, it's timely. So if you're thinking about running for office, by all means, okay, this is an excellent card for that because it may be the coming of the year of the woman, no matter what Time magazine had said in the past. And here's the card where we all are linking together. I mean, this is a great card, but it's not just about the United States. This is about people everywhere, okay? And it's about, I know this person, introduce you to that person, introduce you to this person, and there's this odd connection that seems like a soul connection, all right? So each one of us has impact on whomever else is on the planet at this time. And this is about being in a position where you can do something about it, okay? There's an indication of San Francisco in here, there's an indication of New York, there's innovative ideas that are coming from these areas that we're gonna look forward to, all right? So, and it's the people, it's not just one person, it's the people of those areas that are gonna make a difference. And this is a helping hand to those that need us, helping the downtrodden, okay? And I don't mean that in a hysterical way, but that's kind of what it's doing, sending out a helping hand to those that need it. And the ones most vulnerable, and I just don't mean old ladies like me, I mean children and other people's children, not just ours. Children belong to everyone, and it's our responsibility to make sure that their experiences in life, keep them safe and allow them to grow. And that's what this is about right here. Okay, candles everywhere. So be the candle, be the light, be the one who inspires people to new thought. We don't need to minimalize things. We might be maximizing things, right? So really pretty interesting card. 6 of Wands, for those of you that may want to look it up somewhere. Okay, I think that's all that I have for you today. Sounds like a lecture, and I don't mean, but I could almost feel like I was wagging my finger, but changes are coming. They are pretty interesting. So, and know that because you're here, you chose to be here to see this stuff. So So don't try and get out of it. These are lessons that you're going to learn and lessons that you're going to teach. Okay, so God bless you. Love you, care about you. Take care.